Israel attacked the embassy in Damascus, and we're hearing now that the United States gave its thumbs up, it gave its okay to Israel before they went ahead and did that. We're still getting the runaround from the U.S. Defense Department and the U.S. State Department here in the U.S., but from Israel, we're hearing that they were given authorization by the U.S. government to go ahead with that attack. And Iran is furious. Iran was initially threatening to launch a direct strike, missile strike from Iran against Israel proper. They have backed down from that, but there's a lot we need to discuss, a lot of things moving on the board. We have Israel moving troops and having major exercises in northern Israel up against the Lebanese border. We have Hezbollah gearing up for battle. We have Iran moving missile batteries around. There's a lot of stuff happening. The United States has assets in the region that are getting hyperactive as well. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we cover things on this channel that the news media doesn't cover, or they gloss over. They just don't do any deep dives into anything about this kind of stuff. And we talk a lot about what's happening internationally when it comes to World War III, which we are on the brink of. Not on the brink of, we're already in. We're in the early stages of World War III right now. Conflict is already happening, and the United States is getting sucked further and further into this. All right, so the Israelis did just acknowledge that the U.S. approved the embassy attack in Damascus. So there were multiple high-level generals from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, which is the Iranian group. It's a portion of the Iranian military, essentially. They call it slightly separate from the U.S., from the Iranian military, but they basically handle basically all the stuff that the non-state actors are doing out there. So you have your Hezbollah, you got your Hamas, you got your the Houthis over in Yemen. You got all these terroristic groups that are being supported by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. That is basically most of their job, and then also they do nuke stuff, and for some reason they always seem to be the guys doing stuff with the boats. So if they are capturing a boat, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard are the guys doing that as well. They're kind of like the CIA of the of Iran. Okay, so there were multiple high-level generals meeting in this embassy building, apart from the main embassy, but it was still considered part of the embassy. Israel dropped a missile right on top of the building and brought the whole building down. Iran just absolutely furious. They started moving missiles around. They started moving surface-to-air missile batteries into defensive locations around the country, deploying them for repelling a potential attack by the U.S. or Israel against the country, which makes you wonder, what are you planning on doing that you're expecting to get bombed in return for, right? That's a question out there. If you're planning on somebody attacking you, you are about to do something that's worth being attacked for, aren't you? So Iran was initially threatening to attack Israel directly. They have now backed off of that, and they're saying that they will not attack Israel directly from Iran. So what is now looking at the United States is suggesting that they believe what's going to happen is that Iran is going to use its proxies, Hezbollah, and others, to attack Israel for them. Now, this is big, but word on the street is that they're going to wait until the end of Eid. So Ramadan comes to a close on April 9th, and Eid is the celebration of the end of the month of Ramadan, happens on the 10th. So we're getting this video out to you as quickly as possible here because once Eid is over, they may be launching their attack against Israel. So this could be a large-scale attack by Hezbollah up in Lebanon and Syria, launching tens of thousands of missiles into northern Israel. That is a very distinct possibility. We could see an embassy attack where they attack a Israeli embassy in another country. That's a possibility as well. the Israeli Defense Forces as well as Israeli embassies are on high alert, and they are preparing for whatever may happen next. Israel has long been moving troops and materials and getting ready for an offensive into southern Lebanon. They are prepared and have been preparing for invading southern Lebanon for quite some time. We may see that unfold in the very near future. So if Hezbollah launches large-scale missile attacks across the border, Israel may just go right into southern Lebanon. As I said in a previous video a while back, that this would not be unprecedented. Israel has invaded southern Lebanon, it's like 4 or 5 times now. So this has happened before, and it happens every so often. So Israel has gone into southern Lebanon multiple times before. This is not some kind of crazy conspiracy theory about that. They have shown that they are very upset with Hamas, and Hezbollah has been firing missile after missile after missile into northern Israel, so much so that they have like 50,000 people that still can't return to their homes. And we're looking at almost 6 months after the attacks, right? For about 6 months, all the folks in northern Israel have not been able to return to their homes. That is just that's not tolerable. And the Israeli Defense Forces and the Israeli government are not going to live for that for much longer. And so if Hezbollah doesn't settle down, they are looking at, they're probably going to be invading. Now, there is peace talks out there where they're trying to get into peace talks with Hamas. Last time it looked like they were on the brink of invading southern Lebanon. There were a lot of peace talks as well. And I think the reason for that is they're trying to get a temporary truce, a temporary peace talk with Hamas in the south, so they can then dedicate more of their forces, more of their command and control, more of their air power up to the north. If they don't want to fight a two-front war, if they can make it peaceful on the south temporarily while they conduct their war up on the north, that would make sense. So there's that. And then the United States has some interesting assets up over the Persian Gulf. We have multiple refueling aircraft up over the Persian Gulf. We can't see what they're refueling because those are not showing up on the air radar, of course, military assets. The suggestion is that they're probably either AWACS, which are radar aircraft, right, command and control radar aircraft that are supervising and patrolling the skies over the Persian Gulf to see early warning, see if anything's coming, missiles or aircraft or anything like that. Or 2, it could be refueling jet fighters that are up patrolling over that area. Now, it doesn't make all that much sense since we have air bases right there on the Persian Gulf. So it is interesting that we have refueling jets in the air over those areas. Now, we have been recently using F-18s to shoot down missiles that have been inbound on U.S. warships and against freighters and such going past Yemen. So as the Houthis have been firing missiles at cargo ships and U.S. warships and other ships going through the Bab al-Mandab Strait or near that area, we have been seeing that some of those intercepts were not done by destroyers, but rather were done by F-18 aircraft. So if we have F-18 aircraft up with interceptors in the air over some of the critical infrastructure, that would make sense because some people are speculating that instead of attacking Israel directly, instead of using their Hezbollah to attack Israel directly, they may actually go after Saudi Arabia, or they may go after oil facilities. If they go after oil facilities, that will cause a big problem, and Saudi Arabia has got to be concerned about that right now. Saudi Arabia has been seen as kind of a quasi-Israel ally recently, and so if Iran goes after Saudi Arabia, and their oil facilities, that could cause a lot of problems. So the U.S. and its allies would be under a lot of pressure to intercept those missiles coming in. And so they're trying to protect a very large swath from United Arab Emirates and Oman all the way over Saudi Arabia, all the way over to Kuwait, and then protecting the air bases and U.S. troops in Syria, U.S. troops in Jordan, U.S. troops in, I think we still have troops in Iraq. We got troops all over the place that could be targets. Any one of them could be targets. And as Israel has said that the United States gave the thumbs up on this attack, Iran may decide to take that out on the United States instead of Israel. They may not be able to find any good, easy targets to hit with Israel. They may just go after the United States because it's easier to go after the United States. And they know that the United States will not go after Iran directly. Iran fears war with the United States, but they also recognize that the United States fears war with Iran as well. Iran has developed a lot of missile technology, has developed a lot of missiles, built a lot of cheap weapons that are relatively effective. Iran was using explosively formed projectiles. They were training insurgents inside Iraq how to use these explosively formed projectiles against U.S. troops. So they were already giving sophisticated weapons to these insurgents, ISIS and all these other guys like that. And so Iran has a history of using relatively advanced weapons and getting them into the hands of terrorists. And so the fact is that they have equipped a lot of people around the world to be able to wage a shadow war against the United States and its allies. Iran has a lot of forces that if they shut down the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, that's the entrance to Persian Gulf, they shut that down, that's going to impact oil supplies around the world very dramatically. They know that that will cause oil prices to go through the roof. And you know who will benefit the most from that? Russia. Russia will benefit the most from that. And they are allied with Russia. China already has stocked up to the gills with oil. They have all of their strategic petroleum reserve fully full. They keep building more tanks and filling them up. They have a lot of oil over there, and they're ready for this exact scenario. So there's a lot happening over in the Middle East right now. We're going to keep an eye on it and keep you updated on what happens, but an attack could happen any hour, any day now. Iran has the moral high ground right now. Their embassy was attacked, and not only is the United States and its allies expecting Iran to attack back, they're basically just signaling what they think is acceptable for Iran to do and what is unacceptable for Iran to do. But they acknowledge essentially that Iran does have the moral legitimacy to attack back, which is saying something right there, considering how self-righteous the United States usually is when it comes to diplomatic. How dare anybody do anything that we don't like, right? That is what's happening out there. All right, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Thanks so much for joining us. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.